Hello all, my name is Pavan Kumar and welcome to my YouTube channel. Guys, today in this particular video we are going to discuss the third built-in data structures in Python programming, which is known as sets. We have already discussed about lists and tuples, which are also one of the built-in data structures in Python programming. And today we are going to continue our Python playlist. And today we are going to start the third built-in data structure, which is known as sets. Okay, so let's get into this. So if you are visiting my channel for the first time, please do subscribe to my channel and please press the bell notification icon to get all updates related to my YouTube channel. Okay, so let's begin our journey towards sets. Okay, so before we start our third built-in data structure, first let us understand what is set, and first we'll give a definition of set and what exactly the set are, and we'll see the examples of set. Okay, so let's try to define a set. Sets are one of the four built-in data structures in Python programming, which is a collection of lists, tuples and other mixed data types. Okay, so this is the formal definition of sets. Okay, and if you Google it, you can get some more information about sets. So, and the second point related to sets is what we can say, the components are the components or the elements of the sets are unordered. Okay, so the third point related to sets is sets are usually represented within flower or curly brackets. Sets are usually represented within flower or curly brackets, and it is separated by comma separated values. Okay, so this is the third point which is related to the sets, and the fourth point which is related to sets are, it as 1, I will give it as 2, give it as third point, and here I will give it as fourth point. So sets does not allow duplicate items in its sets does not allow duplicate items. Okay, so these are all the major points or the major criteria for the sets. Okay, so we'll see in the coming playlist like how the sets are represented. We'll take an example of set and we'll see like how sets are performed operation. Okay, so now let's get into the practicality session of the sets. the Python data structure. Okay, so before we begin the practicality session, first let's try to recall list. Okay, so I will take an example of a list. I have defined list underscore one. I will use some components 2 comma 5 comma 9 comma 7 comma 6 comma 5 comma and 3. I will not take 5, I will take it as 55. Okay, so let's try to run this particular cell. Okay, see here you can see all the components of the list. Okay, so what I have told is like sets are usually represented within flower or curly brackets. Okay, so let's see like how sets are usually represented. Let's take an example of set underscore example is equal to set of, let's imagine like we don't know how sets are usually represented, and we'll do the typecasting and we'll see like how sets are usually represented, so that we will get an idea like how usually the sets are represented, whether they are presented whether using the square brackets or a curly brackets. Okay, so let's try to run this particular cell, and now let's try to run this particular cell after doing the typecasting. So now you can see like the sets are usually represented with the curly brackets or the curly braces. So, and I have mentioned one more thing, like sets does not allow duplicate items. Okay, so again let's take an example of this same list, and I will give some duplicate items here. So what is the duplicate item which we can give? I will give it as again 55, and again I will give it as 9, and I will give it as 5. So here you can see the 5 is repeated, 55 is repeated, and again 9 is repeated. So, and now let's try to run this particular cell, and again we'll do the typecasting. And now let's see like whether do we get all the components of the list which is converted to the set, or whether the duplicate components are removed or not. Okay, now let's try to run this particular cell. So now you can see like all the duplicate components are removed. So sets does not allow the duplicate components or the duplicate elements for its set. Okay, so now let's see like whether can we perform the indexing in sets like the way we performed indexing in lists and tuple. So now let's see set underscore x of, we'll give it as 2. Let's see like whether we can perform indexing or not. Now let's try to run this particular cell. So set object is not subscriptable, that means we cannot perform indexing, is not possible in set. Okay, so this is also one of the interview question, like interviewer may ask you whether whether can we perform indexing in sets like the way we perform indexing in lists and tuple. Okay, so this is about the sets, and we'll take some more example. We'll take the same example only. So set underscore x, we can see some of the components of the set. Suppose if we want to add any new item for that particular set, means let's see like whether it is possible to add or not. Dot add. So what I will try to add is I will try to add Titanic, and I will try to see like whether it's possible to add any new component to that particular set or not. Okay, now let's try to run this particular cell, and now let's try to see. Yes, the Titanic has been added to this particular set. So that means the set is mutable. So set is mutable like the lists, but the tuples are immutable. And now let's see like whether can we remove the components of the set. Now let's try to remove. We'll try to remove the number 55. Now let's see. Set underscore x is the number 55 can be removed, and it's been removed from that particular set. Okay, so this shows that we can add the components to the set, and also we can remove the components of the set, and sets are mutable. And we also saw that the indexing is not possible in set, and we also saw like how the sets are usually represented, and it's represented usually, not usually, it's definitely represented within curly brackets or the flower brackets. Okay, so that's all about this particular video, guys. Like we saw the third built-in data structures in Python programming, that is set. We defined what is set, and some of the important criteria or some of the important conditions which are related to the set. Okay, so I hope you like this particular video. Please do subscribe to my channel if you're not already subscribed. See you one and all. Thank you. Bye bye.